Before we request our honorable chief guest to address us, I'd like to take this opportunity to say a few words about our very distinguished guest for today, Shri IYR Krishnarao Garu. In Sanskritam, there is a famous saying, Paropakarartham idam shariram. This human form is for the sake of helping others. Our chief guest is an epitome of this virtue. After his brilliant academic stint, he entered the Indian Administrative Service in the batch of 1979 in Andhra Pradesh cadre. Throughout his tenure, he has served all sections of society selflessly. He is known for his integrity, efficiency, and courage of conviction. His guiding principle has always been dharma. He is admired for his impeccable service, especially to the less privileged sections of society. Shri IYR Krishnarao Garu has also served as the Executive Officer of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam's TTD. He held that position with distinction and did his best to streamline the entire system. During his tenure as the Executive Officer of TTD, he undertook several measures for the benefit of devotees who visited the temple. Immediately after taking charge as the Executive Officer, the first task he undertook was to understand the issues faced by common people in the general queue. He entered the Sarvadarshanam queue complex and, without revealing his identity as the top executive officer of TTD, he interacted personally with the devotees, standing along with them in the queue as one among them to genuinely understand their concerns and address them. This incident and his very kind gesture moved everyone, and this was unprecedented. All of us enjoy the divine renditions of music, dance, and other cultural performances every day in the Nada Neerajanam program. This program, which has received international acclaim and which has attracted artists and performers from all over the world, is the brainchild of Shri IYR Krishnarao Garu. During his tenure as the Executive Officer of TTD, he also revived the ancient Paddhati custom of bringing holy water from Akasha Ganga for the Abhishekam of Shri Varu. Thanks to his efforts, we enjoy the divine vibrations of Shri Vari Naivedya Ghantanadam every day from our homes. This too was introduced by him. Well, these are just a few snippets of the seva, selfless service he has rendered to Shri Varu, to Tirumala, and to Bharata Mata. In Telugu, there's an adage, Manava Seve, Madhava Seva, meaning service to humankind is service to the Almighty. And Shri IYR Krishnarao Garu has been an embodiment of this. He has also written and published extensively on issues of social and contemporary relevance, and his articles have been compiled in a book titled This, That, and Everything. He also has the unique and rare distinction of being the last Chief Secretary of United Andhra Pradesh, that is before the bifurcation. He also has another unique distinction of being the first Chief Secretary of bifurcated Andhra. In all the prestigious positions he has held, service to the nation has been his sole objective. This reminds me of a Subhashitam in Sanskritam. Nindantu niti nipunaha yadiva stuvantu Lakshmi samavishatu gacchatu va yatheshtam adyaiva va maranamastu yugantareva Nyayat pathaf pravichalanti padam nadhiraha. Succinctly put, it means, whether blamed or praised, the courageous do not deviate even a step away from the path of Nyaya and Dharma. His service to the nation is a source of inspiration for one and all. Due to paucity of time, it would not be possible for me to cover all the multifaceted dimensions of Shri IYR Krishnarao Garu. It is truly a blessing to have such a great person with us, someone who has rendered such impeccable service to the nation and also to Tirumala and the devotees visiting Tirumala, to grace this occasion of Samarpanam, the concluding session of our Suprabhatam webinar. Sir, we are all eagerly awaiting your message. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Brinda. Namaskarams to everyone who has assembled here to be part of this great activity. In fact, when I was going through the little information Brinda has furnished to me about this organization Vyoma, I was really impressed. Sanskritam, Sanskriti, Samskaram. I think these three are essential, required, and are generally lacking. To instill these virtues and make everyone aware of these things is a very welcome step, and I'm happy and really congratulate the great work this organization is doing, and congratulate the founders of this organization, Vyoma. In fact, when Mr. Raghvendra Rao, Brinda's father, who is my classmate as well as roommate, requested me to address the gathering, two things came to my mind. One, whether I am the right person to do it, and whether I have the requisite knowledge, exposure to really address you and enlighten you. But then sometimes you don't go by your qualification. You go by your attachment to a person and the strong bonding you have. So there's no way I could have told no to either Raghvendra or to Brinda. That's why I'm here. So I know I may not be the right person to address a concluding session like this, because I am neither a very great Sanskrit scholar nor a highly learned man on the religious side. But that being what it is, whatever little I know and whatever little I did there and seen there, some of those thoughts I'll share with you. Brinda told me I'll have about 20 minutes, but I think whatever relevant and interesting that I can share with you, I'll try to do it. And that's the way I'm looking at this concluding session, for which I've been honored by inviting me as a chief guest. First of all, about Vyoma's activities, one thing really India missed when it became independent and when the constitution was framed was whether Sanskrit should be the official language. It was, everybody knows, Ambedkar who pushed for it, Nehru who was not inclined for it. I wish it happened, because no language can sustain in the long run unless it's owned by all, known by all, and is used in a very normal way in all our transactions. That's the only way all other languages have survived. Unfortunately, right from the beginning, Sanskrit has been the language of the learned. And today, the number of those who know, who talk, and who can delve deep into the literature which is there in Sanskrit the number is dwindling by day and day. So this particular initiative of Vyoma really appealed me because they're trying to get it nearer to the people, which is a very, very, very important initiative, in my opinion. Venkateshvara Suprabhatam, his name, I think, Pratyavada Bhayankarachari, if I am not wrong, he was the one who wrote this. And this, you have this peculiar system. Actually, that's what distinguishes Tirumala temple from rest of the temples. Tirumala temple has this great advantage of saint philosopher and a social reformer, Ramanujacharya. He personally taking care of organizing the system there. So you have 4 or 5 families whom he has selected and have entrusted them different activities. He gave the activity of raising a garden, supplying flowers to the Lord to one of his greatest friend and his follower. I forget his name. Still, that family is there. The greatest thing about Tirumala temple is these families, these traditions till date continue. That's the greatest thing. And then gave to his own maternal uncle, Tambi, the responsibility of daily carrying the Akashiganga water to the temple for use in the temple premises. That's the another family. Similarly, the Jiyangar system. Jiyangar assists the Archakas. He doesn't really perform the sacred duties of the Lord, but he assists the Archakas who do it. And for that Archakas, he had one family, which subsequently has become 4 family, the generation after generation that continues there. So this broadly is the system. Unfortunately, with the type of a secular administration that we have, these institutions are getting weakened day by day. So that's something I think is a matter of concern for all of us, and we should do whatever we can to strengthen and sustain them. And at the same time, these families should also realize and live up to that great tradition that they're just not there as some employee here or there, but they are there as protecting a tradition of generations which are institutionalized by such a great saint like Ramanujacharya. This one aspect which I think if somebody does not particularly is not aware of, I thought I would share this information with you, because in terms of the meanings of Suprabhatam, maybe I may not be the right person to really give you a lot of knowledge, because I mean, being a product of the post-independent or even otherwise also, I mean, where the Sanskrit is not a important thing, as I mentioned. So my knowledge of Sanskrit as well as of the scriptures is limited. So I don't venture into that where my knowledge is very, very limited. So this is one system that distinguishes the Tirumala temple compared to other temples. Then, of course, the ancientness of the temple. I mean, it's one of the ancient, you known as Thiruvengadam, with a lot of connection with Tamil, Dravid, everything. So that's the way it has to be looked at. And you have these whole stories of over a period of time how dynasty after dynasty has really been generous in supporting the temple and the manner in which it's functioning today. You have Pallava Princess Samurai who gave an idol which is still there, and then the golden period of Krishna Devaraya, who came there so many times, worshipped the Lord and got the gold painting of the Gopuram done. So these are all the historical facts which we are aware of. The other most important thing about the Tirumala temple is the way it has inspired saints over a period of time, centuries, who really have sung in praise of Lord Venkateshvara. Of course, Anamaya, every one of us know, Tyagarajas sang about him, Purandaradasa. So as far as the south is concerned, all the Sahitya, a lot of it has, the religious Sahitya has a lot of connection with Tirumala temple. So that's another big thing. In fact, if there is one institution which really binds together Hindus across the country, and more particularly South India because I'm mentioning it because historically it has been a temple which is associated more with the South. But then Marathas, after Shivaji, the Marathas, their contribution has been enormous and association. At one point of time, I think what the name by which they are known as Gosyais, they used to go around, collect money and then do the utsavams at the temple. In fact, that Gosai tradition still continues. After the whole Brahmotsavams are over, on the last day, you have, I forget the exact name, a reverse utsavam in which they go in the reverse direction and come back. And that's where these Gosais play a very, very important role. All of them come from Nanded and those, that side, and these Gosais play an important role in that particular Utsavam. And Nitya Utsavam and then Kalyanam, this is something that vibrates. I mean, that's vibrates as far as Tirumala temple is concerned. In fact, one of the good things about government management also, of course, with all its limitations, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but relatively it's being managed better compared to a number of other institutions, maybe because of the importance that it has, a public focus on the temple. All these things also come. So this is the rich historical tradition of Tirumala temple that we have. Brunda was mentioning one or two initiatives I've taken there. I think I can explain them a little bit and then wind up the my address to all of you. One was Northern Nirajnam. Yes, it was a thing of which I really feel happy that it's still continuing and has been a good initiative. I mean, the idea came up like this. Why not have a program dedicated to the service of the Lord of music and dance, which can also be relayed across the world through the SBBC, which by then was a TV channel which was functioning. So we thought of this, and August 15th, we thought we will start it. So immediately we got a small dais prepared. There was no canopy, and it was a rainy season. So we were afraid in case there's a rain, what should we do? The alternatives were also thought of. And I wanted this to start by a great musician of repute. But unfortunately, the one we had in mind had some issues in coming over. So we requested Kanyakumari Garu to start this on the first day along with her team of violinists. And it was a great thing started on that day. And from then onwards, every day, evening, of course, now they have changed the timings, unfortunately, but every day it used to be between 6 and 7. or afterwards 7 and 8, I think something like that. There was some changes in that. Either it's a classical dance or a classical music. So this program is what Nadani Rajanam that was started and which is still going on, and it was something that I can look back as a satisfying contribution. So that's one good thing. Similarly, as she was mentioning, this tradition of getting that water from Akash Ganga by the descendants of Tirumala Nambi. So they are there actually. Tirumala Nambi's descendants are there. Acharya Purushas, they are known as. But somehow, somewhere it has been given up. So we started that and requested them go all the way up to that point and get it, so that early in the morning, a little making the way and then some lighting and all that we could arrange. That's another, I mean, reviving the tradition as it was, and then using the water of the Bangaru Bhavi. That's another thing, because what happened was with a lot of habitation coming around, that water got polluted. That's why it was not being used. So we got it clean. I mean, the habitations also, as they used to be there earlier, have slightly gone off with these Mada streets and other coming up and occupying that place. So we were also able to use that water for the purpose for which it is meant. So these are some of the small initiatives which I had an opportunity to associate myself when I was there as the executive officer of the TTD. And I'm happy and I'm really pleased to be with all of you and share some of my thoughts on these things, because on the core subject of Venkateshvara Suprabhata, its meanings and other things, my knowledge may be as good as that of yours, though I do chant it regularly. And Kausalya's Prajarama, the way it starts itself, I mean, it's taken from the Ramayana. I mean, and you wake up to perform a responsibility given to you by the God. So that's the way it's understood, and that's the way it has started off. And so beautifully, so much of a meaning, so much of a description of so many things in that Suprabhata, how the God really has to be worshipped and all those things. It's a treat. It's musical to chanting. It's a treat to know and chanting. So those are the areas in which Vyoma is really trying to make people aware of it, and that's a very, very good initiative. So I once again thank the Vyoma founders who was carrying on this great initiative forward. And I thank Brinda and Raghvendra, her father, for thinking of me and giving me this opportunity to be with you. Once again, thank you all. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Very, very grateful to you, sir, for your message and for enlightening us about the unique aspects of Tirumala temple. With the immense service you have rendered to the temple and having witnessed each of the customs of the temple personally, no better person than your kind self to grace today's occasion. As our chief guest mentioned, it is essential for each one of us to work towards preserving the rich historical tradition and ancient customs in our institutions, especially those ordained by our gurus. And at the outset, my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest for today for readily accepting to grace this occasion despite his busy schedule and other commitments. On behalf of all of us at Vyoma, I extend my sincere gratitude to you, sir. Thank you. Namaste.